Hello, hello. Today is day 13 of the 21 days of moving towards inner peace. And yeah, I have to share this. We have this little herd that hangs out around our house, and this one, we call him Star Boy. We saw him right after he was born, and he's been coming around a lot, him and his brother. And after he got kicked out of the herd, he eventually hooked up with one of his two brothers that we knew that also got kicked out. So they were here a lot, hanging out on the property, and we just found out that he was killed yesterday morning by somebody who was speeding through the village of where we live, and it's just heartbreaking. It's like such a sweet horse, just such a sweetie. So it's like there seems sometimes like there's no end to processing through grief and loss. So, but that's not what we're going to tap on today. So I'm going to read out of the book, the idea of a better way to live. So December 4th, if you align in any moment with the flow of life as it presents itself, all will unfold in the right way at the right time, with a certain spontaneity and ease. Tosha Silver. What a perfect follow-up from yesterday. Another great reminder to practice being in the moment and taking time to do this. As I tune into the moment, I feel the flow of life that presents itself. As I take inspired action steps, the next step gets revealed. I'm learning to allow life to unfold through me, rather than pushing myself towards goals that might not be authentic or true for me. I might wake up to the realization that I've been trying to live someone else's version of a life. I want to learn to tune into my authentic self and witness the synchronicities being laid out before me. It's such a relief to learn how to allow life to come through me. As I open to the flow of life, I allow in a greater awareness that moves me forward. Thought for today. What if I can be reminded that there is a better way to live, and this way will be revealed as I learn to allow my authentic self to guide my way. So we'll tap, but for me, it was really like waking up from the nightmare of what I was putting myself through. And I would listen to a lot of stuff in the personal development world, and most of the time pretty quickly I would feel worse about myself because I couldn't seem to do these things or manifest these things that I was told I should be able to manifest. And what I would say I finally woke up to is this idea that what if these things that we want that don't come to us, they're not coming to us because we're not aligned right, we're doing it wrong, we're screwing up. They're not coming because we're meant to reconnect and rekindle or start a new relationship, even if it's with a wiser part of ourselves. But it could be God, the universe, spirit, whatever you'd want to call it. I think it just has to be individual for each of us, and we have to find our own way with that. But that what I do notice, and it's such a practice and it's such a work in progress for me, is getting in that flow. I even think about, I thought about this with this horse that I just adored that was killed yesterday. And for the first time in months, I didn't go. I would have been on the road and seen him after the accident had I gone to take my dog where I usually take him. But I went another way. And I feel like I was blessed or fortunate not to have been driving by to either seen him on the side of the road after he was hit or just seen in the midst of what had happened. So I feel really grateful for that because wouldn't need that image in my head. So even things like that where it's a tragedy, but there is something about it that I'm truly grateful that I didn't witness it, that I didn't see it. I would have been absolutely like crushed by it. So that would have been so hard to, it would have just made the situation even harder. So those are ways to move towards inner peace. Like I definitely am heartbroken and sad, and right now, this moment, I'm in an okay space about it, and I allow myself to feel my grief about it. But that's a win. when I line that up in my head and I go, it sucks. It's a tragedy. I adored that horse. He would come up and eat apples out of my hands. His brother would too. They showed up and my husband would go, the boys are here. And I would just go out and like hang out with them. Now I feel the sadness coming. But I am truly grateful amidst that tragedy that somehow Spirit told me, go to the mesa today. Don't go to that trail. Go to the mesa today. I literally feel like in the midst of a tragedy, I go, that's a gift. That I followed that intuitive thought to go, yeah, go up to the mesa and go there. I haven't gone there in months. So in that way, I would have literally been there either at the time it happened or I would have seen the aftermath. And I'm so grateful that I didn't. So to find that, let's call it the win in the midst of something that can be a tragedy. And that's a way to move, to find some peace, some semblance of peace inside of something that's happened. So there is a better way to live. And I think the better way to live is when you find yourself beating yourself up because you haven't manifested what you want or you haven't done these things. It's like, well, what if this thing that I tell myself I want isn't coming to me yet, or maybe never? Something better is being lined up for me, or what if there's something I'm meant to complete within myself before I take these steps forward? It's just a gentler, and I truly believe it's a better way, and I just believe it's more that we're not meant to be here beating the crap out of ourselves because we didn't manifest our desires or we didn't get the things that we wanted. That's part of an ego-based culture that's crazy. So let's tap, karate chop. Even though I want to find a better way to live, I choose to honor this truth right now. Even though I've beaten myself up plenty for everything I haven't created, haven't obtained, haven't done, I want to see this differently, even if just a little bit now. Even though I want to find a better way to live, I've beaten myself up enough. I choose to honor my truth right now. What if the reason things don't come to me that I think I want, it's not because I'm bad or wrong or not aligned properly? What if things I want aren't coming to me because either better things are being lined up for me, or these things I want will come as I learn to let go of my gripping? And I'm not being tested. I'm not being taught some lesson. What if this is the way my soul is choosing to evolve and grow? What if that's why these things happen? What if I'm learning to see grief differently? I'm learning to see money differently. I'm learning how to see health differently. And what if, as I keep learning to unhook from the pressure that the world puts on me, what if there's a life that's waiting to unfold for me? As I learn how to get out of the way of the gripping my ego has placed on me. Again, I'm not being tested. I'm not being taught a lesson. This isn't tough love. What if my soul sees the bigger picture and knows how to help me evolve and grow and reconnect with my authentic self that's not mired and trapped in cultural programming? And what if I start to feel free? True freedom. Because finding that peace within, in the midst of any circumstance, even in the midst of grief, can change everything for me. And what if I keep evolving and I keep moving towards inner peace as I release all the cultural programming and the judgment that goes with that? So take a breath. And if you found that helpful, you can go back and tap on that as many times as you need to. And again, it's like I said, just that example, when I was unsure if this was the horse that was killed. It sure looked like it, but I couldn't see the head, so I couldn't see if it had the star on its forehead or not. And I was asking, and I wasn't getting the answer. And then I got the answer, said no. And then everyone else was like, no, he had a star on his forehead. So I knew that's Star Boy. And I did think about that. I was heartbroken, and I definitely was moved to tears by it. And I thought, I just had that thought where I was like, oh my God, I am so grateful that I followed the guidance that I had to go to the mesa instead of to go into the loop because I would have been in the midst of it and seen it. And I was like, that would have been devastating for me. So I do feel like I was protected and guided in the midst of that tragedy. So I'm learning a lot about loss these days, especially with sentient beings and amazing animals that I've always been an animal lover. So we'll see. And I hope his brother shows up, but we'll see. So anyway, have a great rest of your day. Bye.